Once we thought about, this is an instrument, it sounds this way, and that's it. Nowadays, I think you have to have an understanding of what the music's trying to say and how to communicate that. And when you have a larger field of opportunities within your instrument, you can create that. As a musician and a composer and an improviser, I think it's interesting to think about the relationship between the instrument and the music. Does one influence the other? Is the music a result of the physical realities of the instruments producing it, or is the instrument designed, or is the instrument sounding the way that the music is imagined by the composer or the improviser? I think it's a back and forth that's in constant motion, and we don't really know. But I think it's an interesting question to think about, because when you're performing, it's interesting to think about: are you imposing the sound of the saxophone on the music, or whatever instrument you're playing, or are you imposing the sound of the composer, the musical world of the composer, on the instrument? Are you using the instrument as a filter for the musical world, kind of conceived by the composer? For me, I think that's the most interesting thing, is to kind of try and make the instrument fit into the musical world of the composer, or of your imagination when you're improvising. Because if you always try and fit the musical world of the composer inside the instrument, they all end up sounding the same somehow. But that can also inspire a composer somehow. The way an instrument reacts, the way an instrument works, the sounds that come out of it, the natural kind of harmonics or whatever it is inside the instrument, are going to inspire things in composers that perhaps they wouldn't have thought of without having that kind of framework to work within. I guess in my work I try and imagine things, and then whatever the instrument is that I'm writing for, whatever the instrument that I'm improvising on, is to make that sound come out of the instrument, but it's always somehow different, because it's like a filter. It's filtering the idea of the work, the idea of the imagination that you have in the moment. And I think it's super important to trust your instrument. I mean, we're here talking with the people from 𝘮𝗲, and I think it's the reason that I play those instruments is because there's a kind of trust. When you're a musician, you need to have as wide a possible range of possibilities, of sound possibilities in your instrument. And some instruments direct you towards a certain kind of sound, or a certain kind of feeling, or a certain kind of something. But what's really freeing when you're a musician, and whatever music you're playing, so it's classical music or contemporary music or whatever, is to have to be able to make any kind of sound, to be within a phrase and go, this phrase needs to go in this direction, this sonic direction, and to have the flexibility to do that. Because I think that's the most important thing, because at the end of the day, we make sound. That's our job. We're not just playing notes, we're not just playing harmonies, we're making sound. And sound is essentially the essence of what we do. It directs everything. It's what we hear. There's nothing else more to it. It's as simple and as complicated as that. So that kind of freedom, I think, is super important in what we do.